In this passage, it's in Genesis 19:30 through 38. And I'm not going to read the whole passage to you. I mainly want to lift up the verse of verse 34. But anyway, in this passage, it's about a man, Lot, and his two daughters. They had escaped the destruction of two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, and the whole valley. And they were destroyed by God because of their wicked ways. Right. The daughters, fearing, according to the scripture, their father's lineage would be lost, decided to take the matter into their own hands. They decided to get the father drunk and go into him so that they could lay with him. They went in, the first daughter went in the first night and laid with her dad. And first they got him drunk, so drunk that he didn't know what was going on. And then the second night, the second daughter went in and got the father drunk. And then she laid with him. And both of them conceived, which to me is strange because I know people that have for years tried to get pregnant and could not get pregnant. Yet both of them went at one time and got pregnant by their father. People paid thousands and thousands of dollars and still no children. But somehow they got pregnant. Also, another thing that sounded a little strange to me was, how had the father become so drunk he had no recollection of being with his daughters? But I can thank Reverend Tilton for answering that question. Obviously, some people get drunk, or when they drink, they forget everything. But it still seems, because I have to be transparent, I've gotten that way a few times myself. But the next day, little things would pop back, like they would come back to me, or, there was some sign of what happened, or, that night. But anyway, he was in such a drunken stage that he didn't know that the daughter slept with him. But even after the first night, how did you turn around and do it the second night?
That's right.
So I came to the conclusion, maybe this really wasn't their doing, that this was all a part of God's plan. Now we know that things happen that are God's plan. We know that Joseph, his brothers sold him into slavery because when the famine came, he went through all kinds of being thrown into jail, being accused of trying to rape someone. But still, when the famine came, he had already been elevated to a point where he was the only one that could save the Jewish people. His father and his brothers, the very ones that had thrown him into the pit, he was the only one that was able to preserve their posterity. All right. Then there was Esther. She came along, and I don't know that she really wanted to marry the king or whatever, but her uncle put her up to get going through the process so that she could be one of the candidates. But because of this, there was a man that wanted to kill off the whole Jewish race, the whole Israelite race, but she was able to preserve their posterity. So I just want to suggest to you today that maybe this happened because the first daughter, she had a son and she named him Moab. And the Moabites are still in existence today. Right. And we know that Ruth, who was Naomi's daughter-in-law, was a Moabite. She came and she went with her mother-in-law back to her country, where she met her Boaz. And there are so many women today that are waiting for their Boaz. But this Boaz, along with Ruth, they produced Obed. Obed. Yeah, Obed. He was the father of Jesse, which was the father of King David. Now let's step down 28 more generations after David, and we step right into who preserved all of our posterity and gives us a chance to have a second life. When we leave here, when we die, we don't die. We